Hello, Pedro. I don't think it started yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
started. I don't see you, but it started.
Okay, I'll turn the camera back on. That happens sometimes.
Okay, we're on
All
video.
right. So the camera is good. All right. So, um, there's several things to mention. Um, actually, can you turn your mic off? It's kind of noisy.
Yes.
All right. So, um, the first thing let's talk about was what you wrote down about satisfaction and wanting more of it. Okay, this is absolutely quite typical. Everybody goes through this. Um, uh, there is actually a frame of reference for it that has a particular uh, verbiage to it. It's called spiritual materialism, for one thing, and another one is desiring desirelessness, or wanting more satisfaction. It all comes in the same ground. Is that now that you're practicing satisfaction, the hindrances will keep coming back up, saying more. What's next? What's what happens now? Etc. Like that, and that we have to keep bringing it back to right now is good enough. This is satisfying. And then the mind will want, well, what's next? The mind will want, well, I'm satisfied, but I bet I can have more satisfaction. Okay, that in fact it's a kind of a material or spiritual greed, spiritual materialism, wanting more and wanting more, to where in fact what you see is what you get, what there is what we have, um, and that we have to practice this because we have been practicing wanting more and more and more our whole lives. We were taught to want more. We were taught to get to get to first base and then work hard to get to second base. And when you're thinking about second base, you're actually thinking about third base and the home run. You got to go all around. You can't get a point until you finish. Right? This is the whole mentality that we're built with. And so, um, practicing catching that mentality is a lot of fun. Start to look, start to figure out when that kind of thing is happening, when the mind is practicing satisfaction and wanting more satisfaction. Aha, I caught you. This is actually good enough. We don't have to get something next. There is no next. This is it. Let's stay and enjoy it. This is it takes practice to do this over and over and over again, because the mind is normally wanting more and more. Now, the next point that I would like to mention to you, which is actually directly related to this in a strange way, and that is that when we get practiced, when we get success, we can recognize that success as success. But in our culture, especially with Christianity, we're taught not. We're taught instead to be humble, right? You use that word, in fact. And the humility is actually coming from that you should not be prideful, you should be humble, because you don't deserve to be prideful. You deserve to be humble. You're not good enough. And so that thinking then that you're not good enough, and so therefore you should hide what you do have, um, that we cannot, um, let us say, be prideful. That in fact in our society, prideful and humility are opposites. within the context of the Buddha, they're very, very similar. They're the outcome of competition. And what we're planning on and what we're practicing and what we're doing is coming out of the comparisons, coming out of the competition. That if we compare ourselves to someone, then we'll either come up short or long. We'll either come up prideful or the loser. And so in our society, we actually congratulate the loser. We congratulate the humility. We don't like someone to go around acting prideful because it hurts our feelings. They're supposed to be humble, like me, right? And so we go with that mentality. And that the teaching of the Buddha is actually quite opposite of that, in the sense that um, we go for gaining that satisfaction. We gain the success. We put the work into it. We continue to put the work into it, and we get the results. We get the value out of it. Michael is calling. Is it okay that I add him to the call?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay,
Go
I'll
on.
go ahead and add. You should be answering. The ringing in my ear is very noisy. Okay, so that didn't work. I thought that I would add him to the call, but it didn't work. So we'll continue on with what we're talking about, and that is when we compete with each other, we see each other as kind of an adversary or an enemy. We don't see each other as friends. And when we see each other as adversaries or enemies, then we want to compete. We want to show dominance. We want to find out who's in charge here. We want to find out, who's the alpha male in the crowd, etc., like that. This is quite normal human behavior. And so we compete with each other to find out who's one up and who's one down. And in any particular group, there's only supposed to be one guy that's up, and everybody else has got to be humble. They've got to be one down. Otherwise, we're going to have a fight, right, to determine which one is on top. So, in the context of the Buddha, since we are all friends anyway, that we can all also be winners. We can all be champions together without having to compete with one another. So we give each other credit for being on top of the world. That it's okay to be on top of the world. That you don't have to be humble about it. The sutras are full of this kind of stuff in the way of that whatever assembly the Buddha goes to, he's basically the center of attention. He can walk into any assembly and meet with the people, converse with them on whatever topics that they want to converse, and not feel afraid, not feel dejected, not feel like an outsider. You feel like you own the place. Now that feeling is part of the development. You see that when you have satisfaction, but a little satisfaction and not enough satisfaction, that's back into that humble pride, competition, comparing ourselves, etc. And so we can, in fact, come out of that by congratulating ourselves for doing what we can do, become successful. This this satisfaction is satisfactory. It's good enough. I can handle it. So we begin to catch that. I want more. I'm humble. I don't have enough. I'm not good enough. I want more. I want more satisfaction. I've got satisfaction, but I want more of it. Now we're going to change that by saying, aha, I can see that wanting. I can see that desire. I can see that desiring desirelessness quality to it, that I want more. And so we can then just say, aha, I caught you, and let it go and come back to, this is good enough. This is fine. I got what I need. This is enough. So we go for that quality of, this is enough. And when we have that quality, we take on that winner's attitude. We've got the win. We've got it. And so there's no reason now to be humble. Take your prize. If you've won the Olympics, go get your gold medal. Stand on that stage. Be one of the lions. This is the way that we practice, is to take on that lion's roar, to take that on, to take that satisfaction and success. And we practice that every moment. This is it. In this present moment, we're good enough. And so this is a new change of attitude. What do you think, Pedro?
Yeah, just really, it's just yesterday that I'm wondering if my some of the tendencies that I have, also for the like the fact that I say often like, okay, no, well, I will stop using the mind. I will also go with feelings. I will not make thoughts. Just stay without thoughts, without thinking. Some tendency that I believe I'm good, but I'm really also looking into the Dharma if these things is recognized or it's wrong or something. It never arised the doubt in me before. Like I was thinking, okay, just yeah, I was like already thinking about this thing, and I'm happy. But sometimes I think maybe not everything is like already like should be in the Dharma path. Like also this thing to I don't really I prefer not to use the mind. Like I let the things that are going on go on, but I don't feed any thought. I don't feed any plan, any thought. Just because when I don't use thought, I'm kind of naturally satisfied. But I see that also it's like it's natural satisfaction, and it's also like I see like kind of dropping away of things. So sometimes I identify with this process, identify with the process of okay, like habits are fading away, and and yeah, like vibration is higher, habits are fading away, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, knowing that we have, when we take identification with something, we identify with it, we become that. And in that regard, what that means is that we're not fixed. We can change. We can change our ID. And by identifying with the Buddha, by identifying with the Dhamma, by identifying with the Sangha, that's what we become. And so taking that identity, putting our attention on it, that's what we're going to be spending our mental moments thinking about. that we become
Yeah, this
eager
thing
for
I'm
Dhamma.
really, yeah, I'm really realizing also how, in fact, yeah, I was on a sort of, yeah, on sort of my stream in some way, but really now I'm really preferring actually the Sangha to my personal stream of thinking and my personal stream of tendency. Also, if I believe it's completely spiritual, but I really find it more pure, the stream of the Dharma, and more interesting. And for this reason also, at first it was like, okay, I want to hang out because I find myself really really good in the company of the Sangha people. But now it's like, no, it's really more also a more need, because uh, I realize that if I'm too much away, then I go back into my own stream of spirituality or something that I realize is not really what I want. So I find myself coming back, but also with more consciousness, knowing that it's not only because I enjoy, but also because it's good, because it's like I learn to disidentify from my own patterns, and find new pathways, because otherwise when I'm left alone, I suddenly go in the certainties that I have, but I find that they don't really come from a true place.
Hmm. So all you have to do now is develop the sati to remember to wake up to that, to wake up to the old and say, hey, I've got better things to do with this moment than remembering who I used to be, to do it the old way. So that's the whole process, is beginning to wake up, to recognize, to remember that we've got a choice. Every minute we've got a choice. If we can wake up, we've got a choice. If we don't wake up, we don't have a choice. We just go the way that we've been doing it in the past. But every time that we wake up, we've got a choice. That gives you power, the power of choice, the power to be the king of your own hill, to be the emperor of your own pile of dirt, to be the master of your own life, one choice at a time. And it's
Yeah,
easy
like
to do,
it's
just
wonderful.
each moment. Go ahead.
Ah, it's wonderful, because yeah, one thinks that okay, no, because yeah, I changed again attitude for another time again, really, because in fact the first thing that I thought was, okay, I will I will stay in the Dharma and the Sangha until it reflects me. But then I realized that it was not coming from a true place. That I just wanted to go on doing things. But then staying in the Sangha, I realized that actually the direction that the Sangha could take me is a way better more than the direction I was going alone.
Well,
Uh,
when we deal with ordinary people and we have our dukkha, they will help us stay in the dukkha. When we're in a noble sangha, when we're around others, we will find someone there that'll help us to come out of our dukkha, not stay in it. The example would be an argument. When one guy is arguing, he actually needs a partner to argue with him, and then both of them feel bad. But when they can be friends instead of argument partners, then they can feel good. But it takes one of them to remember to do that, to make a change. And so that's up to, actually, it's up to you. Can you remember to make a change?
yes, because I have like this preconcept in my mind that I go to a place only if that helps me standing better on my feet alone. And so like I take suggestion for the things, and then I go away and I say, okay, no more useful. No, I got what I need to get, and so on. But yeah, really, I don't know, because it's true also, but it's also true that I realize that I would like to stay also.
Well, whenever we fall out, never mind, start again, come back.
Okay.
We're not ever going to get what we want, but we can be satisfied when we don't get what we want.
Yeah.
In fact, the only time that we'll ever get what we want is when we're really, really wise about what we want. So that we only want the things that are really easy to get.
Mm. Okay.
That's the only way to get what we want is by being very, very wise about what we want. So that what we want we can easily get.
Yeah. I,
So, was today what we said, was that good for you? Was this helpful?
yeah, no, totally. And yeah, totally, because yeah, it's like a new change of attitude. Like I recognize that I don't know how to say, but it's like uh, I prefer to stay in the Sangha that stay out in the Sangha, but on my two legs. Like I don't know how to say it. If it's wrong, tell me. But I think I'm starting to realize that it's better for me to work in the Sangha that and maybe find other people and support each other that like say, okay, I don't need support at all because for the support sake, like I don't need the support at all, and then finding myself away in my old patterns and building pile of shit every time, even if I'm alone.
Yes. In fact, having friends in the Sangha is extremely helpful. Being on our own sometimes is quite slow. An example of that would be that you've got to move from one apartment to the other. If you move everything on your own, it's really, really tough work. But if you got some friends, then you can make easy work of it. Especially like moving furniture that's too big for one person to handle. It takes two people. It's too big for one.
Yeah.
Okay, some of the mental crap takes two people. It's too big for one person to do it. But he's going to have to be the one who does to take the charge of it. But we can get some help from our friends.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for this perspective, Dhammarato. I found it really useful. I appreciate it very much, your teachings.
Excellent. All
Okay.
right, Pedro. We'll talk to you later. Keep going, man. You're
Okay.
you're getting it. You're on your way.
See you, Dhammarato. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.